Welcome, everyone, to Tailgate Thursday for week number 9 of the 2022 college football season. It's the final weekend in the month of October. It's hard to believe we've already played college football 2 straight months and going into November where the games really get intensified. But let's wrap up this month with some great college football games that we got our eye on here at the Ball Society Network. And by the way, my name is David Morrison. I am from the Ball Society Network. Our beloved Tennessee Volunteers still undefeated on the season at 7-0, ranked number 3 in the country. They welcome in an old-time rival, the Kentucky Wildcats, number 19 in the country, 5-2 on the season. Remember a couple of years ago when Kentucky came to Knoxville, they defeated our Tennessee Volunteers. That's the first time they won at that time since 1984. Can Tennessee finally defeat Kentucky at home after dropping 1 2 years ago during the COVID season? Chances are I think they can. Hendon Hooker still has a strong, serious contendership for the Heisman Trophy. Like I said, over 2,000 yards passing so far this year, 30 total touchdowns, only 1 interception. Should be a fun one. As you can tell, Tennessee going in the dark mode this Saturday, including the debut of the dark helmets. Should be a lot of fun. That's number 19 Kentucky at number 3 Tennessee, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Looking at some other games on this Saturday, a battle in the Big Ten. This is the big noon kickoff game on Fox. Number 2 Ohio State, also undefeated at 7-0, heading to Happy Valley to take on the 13th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions at 6-1. This is a big game for Penn State. A lot of people think that 6-1 record really doesn't play dividends of how they really are this year. A lot of people think that may be an overrated ranking. We'll find out. Ohio State, like Tennessee, undefeated. They got a Heisman Trophy quarterback candidate, C.J. Stroud. One of the best wide receivers in the nation, Marvin Harrison Jr. So can the Buckeyes continue their path of destruction in the Big Ten? We'll find out as Ohio State takes on Penn State. 12 noon on ESPN, another undefeated team, TCU, number 7 in the country, heading to Morgantown to take on West Virginia. The Mountaineers are 3-4, and you're probably thinking, why is this such a big game? Well, obviously with TCU being undefeated, that's something Tennessee fans are going to have to keep an eye out on once these playoff rankings come out next Tuesday, November the 1st. And TCU is only like a touchdown favorite at West Virginia, so if you want to put this on an upset alert, you could. Should be interesting to see as the Frogs and the Mountaineers meet. 3:30 on CBS down in Jacksonville, the annual world's largest outdoor cocktail party as the Florida Gators taking on the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs, 7-0 on the year. This is Tennessee's opponent next week. But like I said, we'll get a little early preview of how they are, I guess you could say, as they take on Florida in Jacksonville. One of these neutral site games that always a lot of college football fans look forward to every year, along with like Oklahoma and Texas down in Dallas. But should be very interesting. Can Georgia stay undefeated after this week, or can the Florida Gators pull the upset? We'll find out as the Gators and the Dogs meet 3:30 on CBS from Jacksonville. 3:30 on Fox, another big-time battle in the Big 12. Number 9 Oklahoma State, 6-1 of the year, heading to the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas, to take on 22nd ranked Kansas State Wildcats, coming in at 5-2 on the year. Like I said, the Big 12 race still wide open. Who's going to play in that Big 12 championship game? Here's 2 strong series contenders, along with TCU is in the mix. Should be a lot of fun. The Cowboys and the Wildcats on Fox. A battle in the American Conference. This is a potential championship preview. Number 20 Cincinnati, 6-1 on the year, heading down to Orlando to the Bounce House to take on Gus Malzahn's UCF Knights. Coming into that contest 5-2. It's a 3:30 game on ESPN. Like I said, these are the 2 top teams in the American Conference. Wouldn't shock me if they meet again in the championship game. Prime time. There's another undefeated team right there. That's supposed to be number 4 Michigan. I accidentally wrote down number 3. We all know who the number 3 team is, but either way, the Michigan Wolverines In the Battle of the Paul Bunyan Trophy to take on the Michigan State Spartans at 3-4 on the year. Like I said, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're going to kind of keep your eye out on it, even though we're ranked higher than Michigan. But like I said, the playoff committee is going to be watching these games closely before their first poll reveals. But it is Michigan State and Michigan, 7:30 Saturday night on ABC. Final college football game we're going to preview. Number 15, Ole Miss, 7-1 on the year, heading down to College Station to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. Ole Miss coming off their first loss of the year to LSU down in Baton Rouge. Now they got to go back on the road again, take on Texas A&M. That's trying to find their identity. They're under 500 for the first time in the Jimbo Fisher era. Obviously, the Aggies need to turn this thing around if they want to get somewhere. If not, there's going to be a lot of people not happy with Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M at the season's end. But it will be Ole Miss and Texas A&M, 7:30 on the SEC Network. And finally, our high school game of the week. This is the final week of the regular season in the state of Tennessee for high school football. And we're going to focus on two of the best teams and two teams that are looking to make a state championship run. The Chargers and Chattanooga Christian, with five-star player Boot Carter on that team, heading to Knoxville to take on the Spartans of Webb High School. That is our Vol Society High School game of the week. As I mentioned, this is the final week of the regular season here in the state of Tennessee. Don't forget, follow us on our social media accounts, Facebook.com/UT Society, YouTube.com/Vol Society, and on Twitter @SocietyBall. Also, newest episode of Good Old Rocky Talk just dropped. Is this Tennessee football team starting to feel like 1998 as a fan base? Does it feel like 1998? Make sure you listen to Brad and the two Davids each and every Tuesday for Good Old Rocky Talk, available on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon Podcasts. Until next week, this is David Morrison for Tailgate Thursday. Have a